Hey guys, Southern Mom with a Palm here. So, as always, let me first apologize for how ratchet I look. I have a huge cold sore, my hair is up in a crazy bun, I am still in my pajamas, it is the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday, but today has been one of those days where I don't care. I'm getting ready to get up and get my shower and put on the makeup and the face and film another video, but before I did that, I wanted to try this. I want to try to use my computer to video and tell a story about when I worked at Western State. And every other time I have tried to upload something about working at Western State Mental Hospital, which back in its heyday used to be a fully functioning establishment where people with mental problems went for care and for homing, as well as parents would drop off children that had conditions like Down syndrome because they didn't understand them back then. And it overall was a very exciting thing to look up and to kind of research, because I had no idea when I started working there what I was getting into. So one of the areas at Western State for the retirement home area, what everybody thinks of generally as a nursing home, was originally a separate entity from the hospital. It's actually several thousands of feet away from the original hospital, which is massive in structure. And this nursing home, as it is run now, originally is where they would take criminally insane prisoners, and they had 3 floors, and on the 3rd floor the establishment looked like a huge square, and on the 3rd floor, on the outer area of the square, were actual jail cells, which are still there today. They still have the actual sliding bars and the meal slot tray area. I don't know. I only worked at a jail for like 6 months, so I don't know what all the terms are for the areas, but that's where they put their criminally insane. They kept them separate from everybody else because in the middle of this area there was a room that the doctors would go in and do electroshock therapy, as well as some other not so traditional experiments on these prisoners to find out why they behaved in the fashion that they did. So what made their brain different from others that would lead them to do things like, commit murder or be sexually perverse or whatever their charges were. And their charges could be as insignificant as jaywalking continually, like they had done it multiple times. So they were conducting these experiments on these people on the 3rd floor of this building. Now the 3rd floor of this building is used for storage. In the jail cells, they actually have boxes that have files from who knows how long ago. I didn't go through the files. But in the very middle, where that electroshock therapy room originally was, is now a laundry establishment. And it has multiple washers and dryers, but in the very middle of that room, you can still see the concrete slab where the electrotherapy shock treatments were conducted, either on a gurney or in a chair. And there are still huge rings in the floor where they would actually chain people down. So, like I said, researching this place was absolutely amazing. I found so many files on what went on at this place previously. So, working there, when you go through your orientation, there's ladybugs in my house. I have never had ladybugs in my house, and one just flew on my bed. Isn't that supposed to be good luck or something? I don't know. But anyway, so when you go through your orientation, of course, they don't give you the morbid history of this establishment. They don't tell you that multiple people had committed suicide there, that multiple people had died there, that they actually had another separate area where it was like, it reminded me of a barn when I went out there to kind of investigate, because I'm nosy and I had to go figure out what all was on this property. It reminded me of where you would keep cattle. And So in that area, they would take patients that had TB, and they basically would take them out there and leave them until they died. There's one file I found that described a snowstorm where they would use tunnels under the hospital to go out to this TB area and take these patients out on the carry gurneys and basically just dump them out there in this barn area and leave them. There's another ladybug. What are they doing? So that was the type of place that it was. And so I started working there not knowing any of this, but I did know that when I entered the building for the first time, I felt a very heavy feeling. And I'm not psychic by any means. I've had several paranormal experiences in my life, which I will talk about in another vlog. But as soon as I walked into this building, I felt depressed, I felt sad, I felt angry, and this would happen every single time I would go to work. I would have these feelings. I would go into work and I would be ecstatic because I had had a great day. I worked the 3 to 11 shift, and so I would get up in the morning and I would either have school or I would get several things accomplished, and then I would go to work and I would feel horrible, and I would come home, and on the drive home I would feel that I would start to lighten up and that I wouldn't be angry or sad or whatever the feelings were that I had experienced that day, which varied. So in one of the experiences that I had that I have been dying to tell about but have not been able to upload, a coworker and I, we had to do our own laundry on the 3 to 11 shift. The laundry service crew left at 2, and so if you needed linens, towels, washcloths, bed linens, or if someone needed additional clothes washed, the staff from the 3 to 11 and 11 to 7 shift actually had to do the laundry, which wasn't a big deal. You just went up to the 3rd floor, which used to be the electrotherapy room, and loaded the washers and dryers and did laundry like you would at your own home. Okay, no big deal. But the elevator going up would often have electrical problems, and I noticed that sometimes when we would go up to the 3rd floor, there would be unexplained noises, and I became very aware that there was a presence there. I wasn't scared. I wasn't, I don't know how to describe it. I wasn't at ease, but I wasn't frightened either. I was just very aware. I knew that there was something up there that wanted our attention. So a coworker of mine had let me know that we were out of linens and asked if I would go up to the 3rd floor with him in order to start some laundry and to get some things out of the dryer because he was going to need them for patient care. So of course I agreed, and we go up to the 3rd floor, and I started, when I would come out of the elevator on the 3rd floor, I would announce my presence out of respect and say, "Hey, it's Nicole. I'm just coming up here to do some laundry. I don't mean to intrude. I hope that you don't mind. I won't be, but just a very short time. So that's what I'm doing here." And I would go in and do my laundry. And like I said, often I would hear, look at that crazy hair, I would hear sounds up there, but nothing that would frighten me to the point where I would like run and scream, and you know, nothing dramatic. So on this particular instance, this coworker of mine, after he let me know, we gathered up everything that needed to be washed. We went up the elevator, we got to the 3rd floor, and when the elevators opened, it's very hard. I almost wish I would have drawn a diagram. So the elevator doors open, you step out, and you're in a hallway, but immediately in front of you, you can see jail cells. And they were just jail cell, jail cell, jail cell, jail cell, like that, all the way around the outside perimeter of the building. And each one was meant to house one person. Now, these jail cells were literally so small that the inmates, the prisoners, could stand up and turn, and they could walk from wherever they were sat on the bed. They could stand up and walk to the door, and it would take about 2 steps. There was also a toilet in there and a sink that had cold water only once they got water running. They actually added those sinks much later after the original area had been built. And again, those were all used for storage. But when he and I would go up and do laundry, we would hear things like jail door slamming. And this wasn't a faint sound that you thought, oh, I've just been thinking about this and so my mind made it up. This was a very distinct clank,
of the door slamming shut. And if you open the laundry door and walk the perimeter of the area up there, none of the doors were open, none of them were disturbed. There was still dust on them. A lot of them had cobwebs. It's not like they had the cleaning crew go up there and, you know, polish everything. Nobody was up there except staff doing laundry. So this particular night we had went up there, we stepped out of the elevator, and I did what I always did. Sorry about the dogs. You guys are going to catch them today because I'm not in my car doing my nasty car vlogs. So I stepped out of the elevator and announced myself and said, hey, it's Nicole. I'm just here to do some laundry. Hope I don't disturb you. I won't be long. Just need to get the laundry started. And as we started to walk around the corner, because you had to come out of the elevator and go to the left, around a corner, down a bit, and then through the laundry door, we heard what sounded like a deep breathing, like a sighing kind of huffing kind of breathing. Being in the medical field, of course, first thing you think of is, oh my gosh, a patient got up here and is having some sort of respiratory distress. You know, where's this person? So this coworker of mine and I walked the entire outside perimeter back around to in front of the elevators. There was no one up there. There were no cell doors that were disturbed. Like I said, the dust and cobwebs were still everywhere that they had normally been, and he and I were completely aware that we were not alone. So we go into the laundry room and we start the washing machine, and I think we had 2 washing machines that we had filled, and we heard a rattling sound, what in my head I equated to someone standing at their jail cell and kind of just shaking the bars, not violently shaking them like they wanted out, just like out of frustration, like they were, you know, just shaking the bars a little bit, or maybe had fallen against them, and that after shaking, not the falling sound, just the after shaking. And so I said, we're just going to be a few more minutes. If you could just give us a little bit of time, we have to load up the laundry, and then we'll be out of here. And the lights went out. The lights went completely out. There's one switch on the wall, which was across the room from where we were standing, and it's a big switch. This gentleman and I were standing together on the same side of the room, working on loading up the laundry, and it went completely black. So I reached over and put my hand on him and said, let's just give it a second. Maybe they're having some electrical problems. The light should come right back on. About that time, we heard what sounded like a locking sound. It sounded like, not like a jail cell lock, but like a very heavy door lock. And these doors up there were massive. The door to the laundry room was massive, but it didn't have a lock. So it's pitch black. It sounds like a door has locked. And by now, I had decided we needed to go on and go. So I knew in comparison to where I was where the door was, and made my way toward the door, which is one of the scariest things I had ever had to do because it was so dark in there. There was absolutely no way. You couldn't see anything in front of your face. You couldn't see any objects in the room. There was no discerning where anything was. I was going simply off of memory as to where the door was. I got to the door and turned the doorknob, and the doorknob was locked. So he and I, at that point in time, I was ready to start panicking, but then I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. It's a very heavy door. Maybe something got stuck in there that's making the mechanisms not work. I'm a very logical person, and so I'm looking for any way to kind of explain this away. So I twist the doorknob again, the lights come back on, and it does this kind of sound when the lights come on, and the door is not even completely shut, and it's not locked, like the doorknob is spinning freely. So I look at him and I say, obviously we were not wanted to come and do this laundry. And he believes in the paranormal as well as I do. We had had many, many discussions about it. We had had a lot of discussions about the type of people who were made to stay there that did not belong there, as well as some of the ones who did belong there that actually got out of there
and had to be rearrested and brought back in. And so it was comfortable to talk to him about this kind of stuff. So we went downstairs, and about an hour later, I was like, look, we need to go up and take the stuff from the washer and put it into the dryer. It should be washing by now, or finished washing by now. And so we need to go up there and get it and put it into the dryer. And we both kind of stood there looking at each other because neither of us wanted to do it, but we knew it had to be done. And so it was just one of those, you know, build a bridge and get over it. You gotta go do it. And so we headed upstairs in the elevator, and when we got to the 3rd floor, now mind you, where we worked was on the 1st floor, so we had to pass by the 2nd floor, get to the 3rd floor, and I promise you, riding in the elevator that second time that evening, it felt like 8 to 10 minutes had went by. I had never in my life been in an elevator where it literally felt like time was almost standing still. So we get to the 3rd floor, and I say, hey, it's Nicole and my coworker. I don't want to mention his name just yet. I'm going to collab with him on some of this stuff in a later vlog. But I said, hey, it's us, and we just need to switch the laundry over, and then we'll get out of here. It'll just be a couple of minutes if you don't care, and we'll get out of your way. Hold on. I've been sick all week. I think I said that in my nasty car vlog that I had the other day. That's why I sound so hoarse and horrible today. I think this is the end of it. I mean, I got Texas on my lip. The fever has finally broke, and today's going to be a day where I attempt to look like a person after this. I don't know why I didn't get ready before I vlogged this. But anyway, so we go in to take the items out of the washing machine and put them into the dryer, and everything was going fine. I had one washer open and was actually transferring things into the little basket with the wheels that you roll across this big huge room to the dryers, and he was kind of doing the same. And all of a sudden, okay, when we first walked in there, we look at the washers to make sure they've completed the cycle, because you know, these old top loaders, we didn't have fancy front loaders, because this, now, let me see, it's 2017, this was back in 2010, so we didn't have fancy front loaders, we didn't have big expensive, we literally had GE top loader, probably bought at a yard sale, because there were so many. And we were loading things into the buggy. We first checked to make sure that the dial on there was completely to the completed cycle and that it had popped back up. Because when you start one of those old washers, you push it in, turn it to the start for whatever type of load you're running, and then pull it out to go. And when it stops, it pops, and the whole dial-like inside little thing is all the way out, because you push it in before you restart the washer. So we made sure that both of the washers that we were unloading at that point, and there's another ladybug. This is insanity. I don't know if I can get this on, oh my gosh. I don't know if I can get this on my computer. If I had, look at this. Oh, and he fell off. Somebody tell me if this is actually supposed to be good luck, because these are everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Look at that. So we're going to go to the window with you, because I actually have my screens off, which is probably why they're in the house. But we took the screens off to wash them. So anyway, so as we're unloading stuff, what is this? There is another one, and you guys just saw me put that, oh, it flew across the room. Okay, whatever. So we're taking stuff out of the washers and putting them into the little buggy thing to roll over, and his washing machine, the inside barrel spun like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the inside of a washing machine, because if you open the lid, there's a little foot that goes into this little depressed area, and it has to push down another little like plastic piece, so it goes like this into the hole and pushes this down, and that's what lets the machine know that it's okay, that the lid is closed, so that it can do its little cycle. Well, it'll do a wash, like an agitate, but it will not spin unless that little leg thing is down. So we had the lid completely open. The little pegs were not broken. There was nothing physically wrong with this machine. And if you've ever been able to push that button because you were a nosy little kid, or if something happened, when the washing machine first starts to spin, it starts slowly because it's like a tire at a stop sign, and you have to, like, it builds up the momentum, and then it gets to going really super fast, which is what flings the water out through the little holes and then drains down. So it's not like this thing automatically should start out fast, but he reached his hand down into the washing machine, and this thing spun 2 or 3 times around in a circle like it was at the very end. Now, mind you, we had already unloaded half of these and made sure that the cycle was complete before we even messed with anything. So there was no way to debunk this. There was just no way to make this anything other than what it was. Something else was making this washing machine not work correctly. So my parrots are going crazy. They're over there taking corn. We give them whole ears of corn, and they're trying to fly around their cage with them. They have a humongous cage. So there are 4 more ladybugs. Oh my gosh. Okay, time to put the screens back on. So there is absolutely no reason why these washing machines should have been doing anything out of the norm, and yet they were. And so he and I decided at that point in time that we were going to start doing some more investigating about the history of this place and some of the actual individual people and get to know their specific stories, which we did. And it was some of the most amazing stuff, which will be in some of the blogs to follow if I can get this one to upload. Hence the ratchet nasty face that I am willing to do one more time before dolling up and doing my regular videos. But I have to see if I can get this to upload, because I literally just wanted to tell you about the washing machine coming on by itself, hearing the jail cell, hearing the deep breathing, and the feeling of heaviness that came over us every time. And so if I can get this one to upload, then I'll be doing some more paranormal type vlogs through the month of November. And I think I had said in one of my last vlogs that I had missed the month of November and was going to vlog for December. I don't know what I was thinking. I was driving, I was sick, I was on cold medicine, it was storming, whatever. I missed October for like a vlog-a-ween kind of thing, which is what I originally had wanted to do and could not get anything to participate. The entire month I could not get any of these paranormal type things to load. And even though the files were not corrupted and there was nothing wrong with any of my equipment whatsoever, it worked fine for everything else. So, you guys, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I know I don't have a lot of followers. Like I said in my last vlog, I'm probably the only person who even watches my videos, but that's okay, because eventually I will get there. But if you like this video and you do want to hear more paranormal stories, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, like button. Let me know so I can start getting together with my coworker and doing some collaborations. He has a lot of individual things that happened to him when I would send him upstairs to do tasks, or I would ask him to go through one of the locked doors into a corridor. He has a lot of stuff that he would like to talk about as well. I have hundreds of stories of things that happened to me while I worked there, including something that happened in the parking lot that I'm excited to share with you guys if you'd like to hear it. So that's it for now. It's almost a 25-minute vlog. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to upload it. I do need to go and do my makeup and get rid of this nasty been sick for a week and a half look so that I can continue on with my day. So like I said, if you guys like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button, click that like button, and I will upload some more paranormal videos for you guys. So until next time, peace and palm love.